Hello and welcome to this demonstration of accounts data import with AOI Hub. In the accounts data worksheet within the AOI Hub reporting template, there is an option to import data from another spreadsheet. This is a typical example of the type of spreadsheet data you might want to import that may have been produced by your system. And on here we have a row containing the relevant column descriptions and then list of account data to be imported, in this case starting from row 5. In the AOI Hub template, we start the import process by clicking on the import button here. We select the workbook that we want to import. When we've done that, it gives us a list of all the worksheets within that workbook. Select the one we want. We select the headings row. That's the row that contains the column descriptions in our data. And the first data row, which is the row where the accounts data started, in this case, row 5. There's an option, replace existing data on worksheet. In this case, I haven't got any information already on the sheet, but if I tick that, it would replace, overwrite anything I already had. If that was left unticked, then any data that you import would be added at the bottom of the worksheet. And an option finally to remember these details, where that's selected, the next time that you go to import, it will already populate the worksheet, workbook, etc. based on what we have here. If I click on import, that's now completed. The reason that that import was so quick and successful is because all of the column descriptions in the spreadsheet that I was imported exactly matched the descriptions I've got in the AOI Hub template. So for example, the data I had would have had account balance, account holder type, etc. What we're going to move on to have a look at now is what happens where the column descriptions aren't an exact match in the data that you're importing and how we map that. So I'm now going to import for a second FI. If again I go to the import, see that it's remembered the spreadsheet I was dealing with. I'm going to now switch to a different worksheet and click on import. What it's now done through the import process is it's found that there are a number of columns in the spreadsheet I was trying to import where the columns don't exactly match the AOI Hub columns. Some of these I'm not concerned about because they're not data fields that we use, so account name, self-certification status, date account opened. Whilst they're in my source data, I'm not interested in them for the AOI Hub template. However, the final item on there, legal entity name, I do need to map, because what we have in our source data here is a column legal entity name that corresponds to the AOI Hub column organization name. So that's fine. What I will now do is click on Edit Mapping. And what Edit Mapping does, it opens up the mapping file that works with AOI Hub templates. That's a separate file that's supplied with the template that organizes the mapping of column descriptions to our standard columns. So the way this works, in column A, we have all of our AOI Hub standard columns. So you can see on here things like first name, last name, organization name. And the columns B and C, the grey coloured columns, are our standard mappings. So you can see here the descriptions are pretty much the same as the standard account headers. And in the green columns from column D onwards is where you can specify the descriptions that appear in your source data so they can be mapped in. So for example here, in the data that we were looking at, it had a column called legal entity name, which is to be mapped to organization name. So once I've entered it there, and then if I click on save or close this, when I return to the AOI Hub template, if I repeat the import process, on the first screen that appears here, there's a sync mapping button. If I click on that, what that's going to do is copy the mapping file details into this template, so indicating that's happened. And now if I proceed through with the import again, it's identified that they've still got these 3 columns, but note that the legal entity name is now mapped in. So if I click on continue, because I'm happy to proceed, that's now completed the import. We hope that you found that video useful. Please look out for further updates on our YouTube, LinkedIn and Twitter.